Greetings again, everyone. Corey here. Talking about Core 101 course, Academic Foundations. Right, so we're coming up on week 2. And so we talked a little bit about this class this past week. So I'm going to talk a little bit about next week. So I'm going to, again, minimize, put myself down here in the corner, maybe. And so we're going to go back to course information. And this week, we're going to kind of turn our attention. We'll get the self-reflection essay paper turned in Sunday night, and then we're going to start thinking about this research process, right? Everything's going to be kind of like geared towards this one thing. Start off with a proposal, get some sources, put a bibliography together, and then we'll put our research report and proposal together, and leading up to a presentation at the end of the semester. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. Now, the thing I want to kind of talk about now is, like, by Tuesday, both online as well as our face-to-face classes, we're going to start thinking about our topic, okay? So this particular assignment research proposal paper asks you to persuade me that your research topic is interesting and worth researching. And so what I kind of like to do is take a step back here for a quick second and say, okay, before you try to convince me and persuade me that it's worth it, let's make sure that the topic that you're picking has got some gas, right? It has some longevity before you write this 4 to 6 page proposal. All right, so we want to take a step back for a second. And we're going to do some brainstorming around Tuesday's class. And so I've asked everyone to kind of be between now and then start thinking about a topic. So I'm going to give you some 3 really good points here. So I'm going to kind of skip right down to here. You can read all this other stuff if you want to, but really what I want you to kind of think about right here in choosing a topic is A, B, and C. Because if we can answer these positively or strong yeses, those topics are going to have more gusto in them, and then that way 5-6 weeks from now it doesn't kind of run out of steam. Plus, you want to make sure that the topic is something you're going to spend between now and Thanksgiving on and spend a lot of time with, a lot of time researching, reading, rereading sources, something that you can also be personally invested in as well. Okay? All right, so letter A right here says, do you have a personal experience that relates to the topic? B, do you think researching this topic will benefit you intellectually, spiritually, or professionally? And C, how about exploring this topic, benefiting and sharing that with our peers in our community? So we talked about this in class this week, that when we think about benefits, when somebody has benefited from something that they read or that they come across, it's in the form usually of information, right? So we're passing along, we're providing after we have done all this research, and then we're condensing that information down, right? What we've learned, and then we put it into this informative piece, right? In our case, a proposal, right? Or an essay, or a plan, or whatever that might be. So we want to start thinking about those things ahead of time. And I use this example in class, and I'll just use it really briefly. So, for example, something that touches everybody that we all need to probably learn more about is maybe COVID, right? We're all touched by it. We can all benefit. You will benefit by researching it yourself, professionally, intellectually, spiritually, etc. And you'll benefit your fellow man, fellow woman, your community, your sphere of influence, some psychologists may call it, right? Your peers, us, our community at Adrian, your community wherever you live, right? So thinking about those things, so then you're thinking, okay, COVID's like a really, really, really big, huge topic, and then we want to kind of like think about focusing and narrowing it down. So within COVID, we might think about, okay, what are ways to protect yourself specifically, right? You might ask yourself very specifically, I want to find out, are masks really helping us? Are they really close to developing a vaccine? That's another question. Another question is, okay, how did, if this virus that started, how is it that the place that it started at is already recovered and accepting people into their community and just vibrant, right, with life? How is that happening? Is it really happening? Those kind of things. So we'll pick something specifically like within a particular topic, right? So that we can then really get some specific information. So that is when you'll try to, so you have a topic area, narrow your focus down into something very, very, very kind of specific that answers these questions. Okay? Hopefully you have a personal experience with it. It will benefit you and benefit those around you. And probably the one thing that's probably not listed right there that I always say, Can you, is this something you're super interested in that will get, that you can spend a lot of time with between now and Thanksgiving? So really going through all that is to say that by Tuesday, have like maybe an idea of like 3, 4, maybe 5 topics. And we'll do some brainstorming to kind of figure out and narrow down which one of those we think is best. And I want to help you with that so that you don't write a proposal paper and then get through your bibliography and then realize this topic doesn't have enough steam, or it's too broad, or it's too whatever, right? Before we get that far down the road, okay? Because remember, we're all working with a shorter semester, shorter amount of period of time, and so we want to try to maximize every single thing that we do. Because the proposal, you get sources there, builds on the bibliography that gives you your sources on this one topic, that then you use in your research proposals, you use in your research projects down at towards the end of the semester. Does that make everything kind of builds on itself? So if you get so far down the road, then you have to back up and start all over. And with the short amount of time we've got in this class, I don't want anybody to get behind. So try to help us knock out any objections before we get there. All right, so I hope all that makes sense. If you have any questions about any and everything that I've said in any of the videos, please do not hesitate to shoot me an email. I wish you all a most wonderful weekend. I'll be back with more videos Monday/Tuesday. And those of you in quarantine, I'll see you on video. And those of you not, I'll see you in class, at least as I understand it right now. Okay? Take care. Stay awesome.